As many of you know, I've been playing a lot of Duel Links the past couple weeks, and right before I got my second King of Game rank, I decided to buy the Spellbook deck that I was playing in Duel Links in real life, and mostly just to splash it in with other decks. The deck that we were playing on a different live stream was Altergeist, because they're spellcasters, and you don't always have to have like this guy on the board to actually activate Fate. You can just have any of the Altergeist cards, and I'm not playing Silent Magician. I should mention that I don't think that card's actually super powerful in the TCG. It just happens to be good in Duel Links. And in today's video, we're going to do a mail day opening. We have like 7 packages here. It's kind of like a pack opening, except we know we're going to pull a good card out of every pack, and that's really cool. Just to kind of show you which spellbooks I already have, we have 3 copies of Blue Boy, which is pretty staple. I have 2 copies of Secrets. Don't worry, we'll get a third one in a second here, and then 2 copies of Knowledge. This is a card that I really wish was in Duel Links. This card is super good. It really helps the deck out a lot, just because one of the issues in Duel Links, if you've been watching those gameplays or if you've played the game before against spellbooks, they have a lot of trouble actually putting that 3rd spellbook engrave for the Fate. And Knowledge gets some spellbooks in the grave and gets you free draws. So this is a card I wish was in Duel Links, and also Grand Spellbook Tower, which we'll open in a second. And then I have 1 copy of Wisdom, and I had a super rare line around. So this is like the cards I already have, and then we kind of bought everything else that we needed. I have some of the other Prophecy cards, but I didn't really think they were super important for the Altergeist version of the deck. The Altergeist version, it's not like super powerful, but it is a lot of fun, and we did win most of the games on our live stream, so it's a cool casual sort of hybrid strategy. But yeah, one of the reasons that I wanted to buy a set is because I've just obviously I have my invite already, and maybe I'll play a set of regional or something. The spellbook cards are just cool, and I really playing Duel Links made me re-interested into the spellbook strategy, and I wanted to sort of take the spellbook deck from Duel Links and make the version in real life to see the differences. One of the differences being Knowledge, and then one of the differences being Grand Spellbook Tower. Anyway, let's jump right in. And as always, I bought all of these packages from tcgplayer.com. They are my sponsor. No, they did not pay for these, though. I obviously have to pay for my own cards. But one of the biggest reasons that I use TCG Player, even before I was sponsored, is because you can do the comparison shopping, which helps you see a whole bunch of different sellers at one time for the same card, and you can kind of determine which seller you actually want to buy from. I think we have made a grave mistake by not having scissors, but I'll just work with it here. I don't know, that tape doesn't even make any sense. Okay, we definitely need scissors. 1 second. Okay, it's not scissors, but I did find a knife, which actually might be easier. We'll go in here. This was the card I was talking about earlier. If you haven't seen this, we ordered 2 of these actually. There's only 1 in this package. The Grand Spellbook Tower, huge difference maker for spellbooks. This is like when people ask me like how do spellbooks play in the TCG versus the like the Duel Links format. Obviously Knowledge is a big difference, but that's like a newer card. Grand Spellbook Tower though, insane. It gives you a free draw every single turn. Like when you get to the point with spellbooks, if you watch like my live streams and stuff, where it's like I only have like 1 or 2 cards in hand, I'm just like, man, I just need like more cards. This is like the way that you get it in the TCG, which is really cool. And yeah, we picked up the secret rares, which are really nice actually. So Spellbook Tower, super important. Technically, it can help you float when it's destroyed. I'm not actually playing those higher level cards though, so that's not super relevant. Try to dig in here without actually showing my address. That'd be preferable. So this package is Spellbook of the Master. All of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with this card. One of the most important spellbook cards, I'd say. And a lot of people don't know this, but back when these sets were happening, they released like a couple archetype cards for each archetype, like for the whole year. Kind of like how we get TCG exclusives a lot of the time now. Not to the case where like with Gokis, like they had all their support and then they got Octo Stretch like a couple sets later, right? Like in this time, it'd be like every set you get like a couple more cards. Spellbook of the Master was released in Cosmo Blazer, where most of the old Spellbook cards like Wisdom, Secrets, and Blue Boy were all released in Return of the Duelist with like High Priestess and stuff. So you can kind of watch the strategy develop. Same thing happened with Madolches as well. Anyway, Spellbook of the Master, really important card. Looks really nice as a secret rare. I should mention, this was kind of one of the experimental parts of this video. It actually is cheaper to build more than a 20 card deck of spellbooks in the TCG, even if you were buying Silent Magician, because that card's actually funnily enough, Silent Magician is pretty expensive in the TCG as well as Duel Links. It was only printed in one TCG set, and it was a set that like almost no one bought. So actually that card's pretty expensive. But even if you buy Silent Magician, it's still cheaper to get them, like the physical cards that you can do anything with, way cheaper than buying them on Duel Links, which is another thing where you don't get physical cards. So this one, we have one copy of Spellbook of Fate. 2 copies of Spellbook of Fate. Never mind, I thought there'd be something different. So one of the reasons this deck isn't played anymore, or one of the reasons, and we kind of make this comparison, I play Spellbooks in Duel Links specifically because I think Spellbook of Fate is the best card in that game, like with the available card pool, because there just aren't cards like this in Duel Links that are so versatile. The problem with this card in the TCG is that you need more than single target removal. You really do. In Spellbooks, the Spellbook strategy was kind of a slow-going strategy. Usually we would just have like Fate and then whatever like 1 or 2 trap cards you drew, and like you would have a lot of like follow-up because you'd get a draw from Spellbook Tower and you got lots of searches. You'd like power over stuff, but the reason that Spellbooks aren't played in the TCG right now is because Fate isn't good enough, where in Duel Links it actually is good enough, even against the strategies that have like more than 1 summon per turn, which is most of the meta strategies. Fate and Silent Magician can actually take it all out at one time, which is really cool. But you don't really see that, and oh, this is another one where they put my address, so let me get it out here. You can see also not stuff on both sides. We have Spellbook of Life, which is in Duel Links. I don't actually use it. It's a card that I thought people would play. It's kind of cool. You can bring back some stuff. I haven't actually read if you can bring back Silent Magician. I don't know what Silent Magician says. It says it must first be special summon this way, or if it can only be special summon that way. But in the TCG at least, I want at least 1 copy of this card, mostly in the Altergeist version, to bring back Multi-Faker. That's kind of like a funny application that was kind of cool. So you have 1 Spellbook of Life. And then we have, yeah, so I own Spellbook of Power. I don't know where it is. Like, I bought a lot of Return of the Duelist packs a while ago, not only when the set came out, but also we got like a couple special editions back like 6 months ago or something. I don't know where they are. I didn't want to go digging for them. This card was only like 25 cents, so it wasn't that big a deal. We did not buy the ultimate rare version. I'm not that crazy. We almost did, but I decided against it, so we got Spellbook of Power there. I will say that the Spellbook of Life maybe isn't as good as I thought it was, even in the Altergeist version. It turns out, just like, even in the TCG, the card just requires way too much setup for not enough of a payoff. Open this one. Yeah, I don't know how I was expecting to do this with scissors, because they wouldn't really fit in there too well, but I don't know. I appreciate that people tape them down so the card doesn't go flying everywhere in the envelope, but it's whatever. This is the Spellbook of Eternity mail. Yep, we got 2 super rare copies of this card. Very nice looking. Very nice. These were, they're not, I know they look kind of damaged or whatever, but, well, not really damaged, but these were light play. Like, half the cards I bought were light played. So far, though, I've been pretty impressed. This one in particular, though, you can see the corners have some major damage. Not too big of a deal, though, because we're not really caring too much about that kind of stuff. Put that there. There. We're down to 2 packages, I think. Open that one last. I think that's like the biggest one. Here. Ooh, they put it in a sleeve. And they taped it. Yep. Okay. I hate these Ultra Pro top loaders, by the way. They're super, like, just to compare here, this is like a normal top loader. It's like I have to like really try to bend it. Ultra Pro ones, you can do like, I don't think they're very good. They are a little bit more economical though. Anyway, our second copy of the Grand Spellbook Tower, very important card. This card was particularly good in the Altergeist version because you can draw into all your Altergeist cards. Really, like, I actually think that deck's not that bad. I think Fate's a good card when it's backed up by all the other Altergeist cards, which is cool. I just think that the problem with that deck, from what I saw, wasn't that the cards weren't powerful, wasn't that the deck didn't have a win condition. It was simply that on the first turn, you sometimes had way too many normal summons, because you would have like Blue Boy, and then possibly Mullaseek, possibly Marionetter, and you just have hands of all normal summons. No, that doesn't mean you should play Brilliant Fusion. Oh, this is another one that shows my address. That doesn't mean that Brilliant Fusion is a good card because there's no like light monsters in the deck. I guess like Concrete is a light monster technically. But yeah, so I think other than the first turn though, like it goes really well because you don't need to summon Blue Boy anytime after the first turn. You just summon your Altergeist cards. Basically, it seems like you're playing a regular Altergeist deck, except you also have like Fate, which is pretty cool. And then the last, I was going to say last pack here. The last envelope here, we have Spellbook of the Master, another secret rare copy. Very nice, very nice. And then our Spellbook of Secrets. Pretty cool. It's worth mentioning that in the TCG, you don't actually need to play 3 Fate because you have Spellbook or Grand Spellbook Tower to recycle things. So this card actually gives you infinite access to Eternity, which is really cool. So in the TCG, like you don't need the 3 copies of Spellbook Fate. Another reason you don't need the 3 Fate is that in Duel Links, a lot of times you, unfortunately, because there's no main phase 2, you have to search 2 Fate in a turn so that you can have 1 in hand for if your opponent activates something in the battle phase, and then also set 1 before your opponent's turn to disrupt them. Where in the TCG, we have main phase 2, which is like God's gift to this earth. So we can actually keep the Fate in the hand for the battle phase, and then main phase 2 set it in our back row. Anyway though, that is going to be sort of my melee opening, and also kind of like a discussion video. I try to make these interesting. I haven't done a melee in a while, but I think that hopefully if you play either Duel Links or the TCG, you can sort of listen to this video and sort of learn a little bit about the Spellbook deck on either side that you're not on. But yeah, expect Spellbook deck profile at some point, probably with Altergeist. I don't know if I'll take them to regional. I think maybe I could. Like I said, it's not like the worst deck ever. It's kind of fun. It just has some bricky hands, but we'll see. We will see. Anyway, though, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.